Thank you, Dennise, for jumping on here. Wonderful to meet you. And I understand you're in a bit of a, I don't know if you would use the word transition, but you have two kind of things going. So what does that look for you right now? And what are they?
Yeah. So thanks so much for having me on here, Dan, and I'm really appreciative of your time. I have two things going on right now. One is a business that I've been involved in for about 12 to 13 years, which is my real estate business. We focus on primarily working with investors and within the pre-construction real estate market throughout the GTA. So, really helping people build personal wealth and educating them on the marketplace. And then my new focus is working as a breathwork facilitator. So that's something that has really changed my life personally, really helped in terms of stress management and managing anxiety. So that's something that I'm also hoping to kind of get out there and share with as many people as possible.
I love that. And when did that breath work first come into your life?
So I'd say it's been a bit of a journey. I dabbled a little bit with meditation probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and really found that I had a hard time quieting the mind. And so I would spend a lot of time thinking in meditation about meditation and if I was doing it right. And though I'm sure I was receiving many of the benefits, I wasn't really finding that it was substantially helping with my anxiety, and also the amount of time I would have to spend in the meditation to kind of get to the place where my mind was quiet wasn't always useful for somebody who had or for me having like a really high intensity based job. So about a year ago, I was introduced to somebody who does a lot of breath work, and was introduced to it in a way in which you can kind of introduce it into your life in little short kind of spurts, which I absolutely loved. I think sometimes being someone who doesn't have a lot of time, fitting in like an hour or two on top of all the other things you try to fit into your life can seem overwhelming and just adds to the stress. So that really was a game changer for me, and kind of where I fell in love was knowing that I had this tool that I could use to shift my state energetically, shift my mood, shift anxiety, shift anger, whatever it is. And it only takes a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, was such a game changer for me in my real estate career and just in life in general with my relationships and things like that.
And what is breath work, and how is it different from meditation?
Okay, so breath work is utilizing the breath in a controlled, conscious manner. There are so many different types of breath work out there. There are two kind of camps to separate it. One is what's called an integrative breathwork practice, which is what I was talking about a little bit before, where you can integrate it into whatever you're doing. So you can integrate it into a meditation. You can literally do it for 1 minute, in between phone calls. And then there's like more like a meditation type breathwork session, and those can range in time, let's say from 15 minutes to some people might do multiple hours at a time. So it's really kind of using the breath to change and shift energy and our emotional state. It can reduce anxiety, depression. It increases self-awareness. It really helps people. For me, it really helps me get into my body. So it kind of overrides that mental chatter component, because you're actually giving yourself something to do.
Yes.
And I'd say that's probably the biggest game changer when I think of the difference between meditation and breath work, and especially for those people out there that are those that really are doers, or that that type A personality. They have something to do in the session, and that tends to really help assist in the embodiment aspect.
So when did you start thinking about this as a potential career option, and how do you think about transitioning? Is it something that you want to keep both? Do you want to like transition just fully, or like where are you at with that?
Yeah. So I think there's so much uncertainty for me on knowing exactly what things will look like. It would be amazing to fully transition, but real estate's also been a huge part of my life for so long, and there are a number of aspects about that business that I also find fulfilling and really enjoy as well. So the plan for the time being is to stay doing both. I have the beauty of working for myself in kind of both circumstances.
Cool.
And so, I try my best to kind of manage my time between the two. I started looking at building Breathwork as a business.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so because I was looking to bring more meaning and purpose into my life. And so I love sharing it. It makes me feel so good, help people reconnect and help them in ways that have, a positive impact on their relationships and just their general well-being, and to empower people to have tools that they can use on their own after they work with me. So that was what motivated me to go down the road.
I love that. And speaking of helping people and tools, for anyone watching now, do you have some kind of maybe intro exercise or resource that they could start with if they're want to maybe dabble with breath work and use it to help their anxiety and overwhelm?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can get really fancy with breath work and do all kinds of different breath patterns, but it really is as simple as just sitting down, closing your eyes, and taking the time to do, 10 deep belly breaths with your eyes closed, and maybe just holding your breath at the end. And that literally alone, just the simplicity in that exercise can just reset you, bring you back to the present moment, and just kind of give you that opportunity to say, hey, like, what is my next step from here, instead of maybe being reactive,
Cool.
So I think just the simplicity for people that are at home to just take 10 breaths, just slow down and, really focus on breathing deep into your belly, which a lot of us don't do anymore. We literally forgot how to breathe, and so just really focusing on driving the breath down and deep into your belly and just, lengthening those exhales. It's a game changer on its own.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. And last question is, what do you most need help with right now?
What do I most need help with right now? Time management. Yeah, I think time management, as someone who is all working from home quite a bit, and obviously an entrepreneur, prioritizing my time and staying accountable to those to-dos and which are the most important and things like that, I find really challenging. There's always some to-dos that are shiny and bright and fun.
Yes.
And it's really hard to do some of those things that are maybe not as enjoyable, but much needed in order to have both businesses up and running. So yeah, I'd say the accountability and the time management.
Got it. Cool. Amazing. Well, thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it. It was fun chatting.
Amazing. Yeah. And then where can people reach you? How can they find you online?
So the best place to probably find me online is through Instagram. Cool. You can find me there at Dennise Paccione. So just my first name and my last name. And yeah, that's probably the best place.
Cool. Well, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate it. Bye now.